We are playing with some new Colourpop makeup again. Hello friends, welcome back to a new video. As you've seen from today's title, we are playing with some new Colourpop makeup again. They recently released their holiday collection. Well, actually by now it has been a couple of weeks. And this year they went for a Muppets theme collection. So even though I'm not the biggest Muppets fan, it's not that I hate it or something, I just, here in Belgium, it's not really a thing, the Muppets. We have Sesame Street, but the Muppets not really. But I just thought this packaging was just way too adorable. So I picked up two products, well actually three products, but one of them, a lip product, they didn't ship. So that's a bummer, but I got the eyeshadow palette and also a Super Shock shadow to play with today. If you're curious to know my thoughts on this collection, then definitely stick around and keep on watching. Alright, so first up in this collection we have the eyeshadow palette. This is a 16 pan eyeshadow palette and it retails for $26. First of all, this packaging is to die for. So when you open up the cardboard box, the palette itself is actually pink, but then when you close it like this, the curtains go in front of it, which I think is a very clever design. And then on the back it says the shade names. And this is what the palette itself looks like, and again you have the shade names on the back. I love that they went for a more pink toned collection this year. So yeah, design wise I think this is absolutely adorable. Then when you open it up on the inside, this is what the palette looks like. So you have this is not Kermit. I don't even know his name, honestly. I only know Kermit and Miss Piggy. That's it. But these are the shades on the inside. I'm going to show you guys a little close-up. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first saw the announcement of this collection, I honestly wasn't the biggest fan of this color story. But then I saw someone use it and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to like it. So, but now that I'm looking at it up close, okay, you guys know me, I love neutral things. I can do with a pop of color here and there, but this one is very colorful. And aside from this like green shade right here and this cranberry shade, it doesn't really scream Christmas to me, in my opinion. But nonetheless, I do think I will be able to create a beautiful look with it. I just don't know if this palette is my favorite color story wise. I think the palette that I did last year, which was the Rudolph palette, was more up my alley, again, when it comes to the color story. But yeah, again, very excited to see what look I can create with this one. I'm going to insert some swatches now. This palette also has a few glittery shades in here, and then also the shade Be Cool right here has a warning that it is not intended to use for the immediate eye area, which they always do, especially with more like orangey red tone shades, because they tend to stain the eyes a little bit. So I'm guessing they're just like covering for themselves. But aside from that, these glitter shades I'm very excited about, and I really cannot wait to apply them on my eyes. And then next up I picked up one of these Super Shock shadows. These retail for $8, and each Muppet has their own Super Shock shadow and then also their own like glossy lip. And so I did pick up the Waka Waka set, which comes with the Super Shock shadow and the matching lippy, but as I mentioned, they didn't send the lippy, which is a real bummer. But nonetheless, this is what the packaging looks like. Absolutely adorable. I mean, look at that. And then when you open it up, this is the shade right here. Now let me go ahead and give this a little swatch as well. This is Waka Waka right here. And this looks like a beautiful, like warm bronze shade. Alright, so I have no idea which look I want to create. I think I want to do something pink because I don't really do that often on my channel. And I also am wearing my Gizu pink or like purpley pink Christmas sweater. So I thought we could go for something a little bit more pink. Since last year with the Rudolph collection, I did do like a more traditional Christmas look. But before starting, I'm going to take a sip of my tea that I made. How adorable is this mug, by the way? Oh, and also I got my nails done for the holidays. I mean, I am obsessed with these. Moving on to the eyes, I'm going to pick up Holiday Party Time, this shade, and use that as a base. Going to zoom you in a little bit. And I'm applying that up to my actual brow bone. Alright, now that we have that down, I'm going to use the shade Hot Holidays. This pink toned matte shade right here, and I'm going to use that as my transition shade. Using a Colourpop blending brush to apply that. This is one of the first ones that they released, so it doesn't have a number. And applying that in my crease. Normally I don't really wear a lot of like pink toned or red toned looks because in my opinion it tends to make me look a little bit sick. Maybe that's just all in my head. We will see. But I'm just blending the shade into my crease, going up a little bit higher. That way we have a nice gradient going on. And I'm just building this up until I am happy with the intensity. Alright, next shade I'm going to use is Celebrate in Style, which is a dark brown matte shade. The only thing I'm missing in this palette is like a medium toned transition shade. I mean, I will make it work, but that would have made this palette a little bit more perfect in my opinion, or like workable. Using a Morphe E28 brush to apply that. And I'm going to focus this in my outer corners. Wow, that is pigmented. And it has more of like a purple finish to it on the eyes, which I think is absolutely beautiful. It will match my sweater perfectly. Grabbing my previous blending brush, I'm going to start blending that into my outer V and crease, and I'm just going to repeat these steps until I am happy with the intensity. Now, before adding anything onto my actual eyelids, I'm going to apply a little bit of my NYX glitter primer on the areas that don't have any shadow on them. And then on the middle of my eyelids, I'm going to apply the Waka Waka Super Shock shadow, focusing that on the middle part of my eyes. That is a beautiful shade. And then I'm going to go in with Celebrate Moi, which is this shimmery pink shade. I'm going to pick that up on my fingertips and apply that on the inner parts. It does look less pink on the eyes than it does in the pen. On the eyes it has more of like a pink silvery finish to it. But I think it looks really pretty. And I'm just connecting that with the shade that we applied in the middle by dabbing my fingers. Grabbing the brush that I used for my outer corners without any additional product, I'm going to blend out the edges a little bit. And then going in with my transition brush and a little bit of that matte pink shade and applying that in my crease. And then in my inner corners as a highlight, I'm going to use Icy Patch, which is this shimmery shade. Now let's see if this works with a brush. I'm not sure. Like so. I am a really big fan of those shimmery shades. I think they perform really well on the eyes. And then for my lower lash line, I'm just going to repeat the matte shades that we used on the top. Alright, then I'm going to use my Colourpop Creme Gel Liner in Honeydew, which is a nude, and apply that in my waterline. And even though I already set my face, I'm going to set my eyes with some setting spray because we do have a lot of glitter going on. And before moving on to the last step, which is lips, I'm going to apply some mascara, of course, on my top and bottom lashes. I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex, the Pupa Vamp All-in-One, and then the CoverGirl Clump Crusher. And I will be right back. Alright guys, I just finished off my mascara. I also went ahead and applied my lipstick off camera since I don't have any lip products from the collection. I just used the Too Faced Melted Matte in the shade Sugar Cookie. Originally I wanted to do a red lipstick, but I think it would clash with the eyes, so I just went for a nude, which I think complements the look really nicely. Moving on to my final thoughts on this collection. Honestly, the eyeshadow palette gets a 10 out of 10 when it comes to packaging. It gets a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the quality. It is a quality that we are used to from Colourpop. I feel like they upgraded their glitters even more. So, I mean, quality-wise, this eyeshadow palette gets a 10 out of 10. It is really good. However, when it comes to the color story, it gets like a 6 from me, I would say. For me, it's a really hard palette to work with. And maybe that's just because I'm a neutral lover, but I can work with color. It's just I don't really have enough like medium shades to work with. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say that is my least favorite about this palette. That would be the color story. The Super Shock shadow is really good. It is what we are used to from Colourpop. The shade is pretty, so nothing bad I can say about it. Again, I am talking about the color story of the palette because the quality is really good and what you would expect from Colourpop. So if you would ask me if this collection is worth picking up, if you love colorful eyeshadow looks, then definitely. And maybe if you don't mind grabbing a complementary eyeshadow palette or just like a single, then this palette is definitely worth picking up. I mean, I'm a Colourpop collector, so for me this is never a waste of money, and I will use it some more, just not on its own basically. Like I would use these shimmer shades and like these shades, and maybe this one even for the holidays would be so pretty, but I would never pair it with like this lime green shade. So that's just my 2 cents on the palette. I love the collection. It's just a little bit harder to create a full look using only this palette is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, that wraps up today's video. Those were my first impressions, thoughts on the new Colourpop Muppets collection. If you have picked it up yourself, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to find out. I hope you have an amazing December, and if this is my last video that I post before Christmas, then happy holidays if you celebrate Christmas. I hope your holidays are filled with love and family and friends, good food, laughter, and just coziness and happiness overall. But that's it from me today. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.